talking about a topic that probably a lot of you who are just starting out would find incredible value in. We're talking about building your book behind the chair as a newbie in this day and age and how hard it can be. We have Payton Wargo with us.
Hi.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome, Payton.
Thank you so much for being here, dude.
No problem. Yeah. My pleasure.
Leash, quickly give us a breakdown of why Payton is with us. When we talked about this topic, why was Payton on your radar?
So she's accountable for building her business. Like, she knows what she needs to do it. And she's also very consistent regardless of what's going on. So it's like I feel like a lot of times with these newer stylists, they get so discouraged when they don't see results from like posting on social media or like talking about rebooks and things like that. Whereas like she's down to do it regardless of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that served you pretty well.
I love that.
Sure.
She's also only been with us for what? Almost 3 years?
2.5, yeah.
Yeah. So 3 years and she's almost going to be a level 4 stylist. I'm going to sprinkle that out there for the world to manifest.
Yes.
I mean, that's
Fingers
insane.
crossed.
Yeah. So
Payton,
it's-
did you come to us right out of hair school? No, I used to work at a salon in Old City, but like it just it really didn't end well, to be honest.
Okay.
Like I was there for like 6 months, and I mean, I think it's like always a learning curve. Like you don't really know how to be like an assistant. I started while I was like finishing beauty school, and then like once I was full time there, I feel like it definitely was like a learning curve, even though like I don't know, you like work in a salon and you want to have fun, and like you're like everybody's so like nice and like you're like doing fun things. But yeah, so it ended. Here we are though. But
Were you living in the city at that time?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived in the city from beauty school, and then we moved to Manioc in August. And then I was in Manioc when I started here.
Okay.
So I used to like literally take the train for 2 hours every morning before my shifts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was gonna make it work, no matter what.
Let's go back to the initial encounter for you and I was when you interviewed at Newtown Square.
Yeah.
You went to college, right? So talk to us about that portion of, kind of like how that went for you and then what encouraged you to get into the beauty industry.
Yeah, so I went to school in Pittsburgh, and I studied accounting. I was there for all 4 years. I know a lot of times people don't make it, but I was the first one in my family to graduate from college, so I always felt like that was important. I was like, you know what, I just gotta stick it through. I should have known, I always say this, I should have known when I hated every internship I did that I really wasn't going to like being an accountant, but I was like, oh my God, let me try nonprofit, let me try this, let me do this instead. And I got out of college, what I thought was going to be my dream job. And turns out I really hated sitting behind a desk every day. And once we started working from home, oh my God, it was so bad. I'm just not intrinsically motivated like that. I would work from my bed, and it was just not sustainable at all. So I've spent one day, I was in the midst of the winter scaries, and I was like, I gotta do something different. I can't keep doing this. And I fell down this rabbit hole of YouTube and just figuring out my options. My other option was that I was going to go to law school, and I had purchased the LSAT prep book. I was planning to look into law schools and stuff. And then I was my biggest pet peeve was being in corporate was I always felt like everybody's quirky little sister. They'd be like, you're so silly. And I'd be like, I really wasn't. I'm I'm not trying to be silly. I'd have to ask people oh, I think something's wrong with this account. And they'd be like, yeah, but let me go through 5 other people before we take you seriously.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's rough.
And so I just didn't love it. And then I found this girl on YouTube. Her name is Sam, and she's from around here, weirdly. And she went back to hair school after graduating from Temple. And I was like, you know what? I could do that. And so I still have my notebook from when I planned everything out, because the hardest part was I had bills to pay.
Yeah.
Like, I had rent, I had my student loans, I had all of it. And I started beauty school in May of that year, and the rest is history.
It's such an inspiring story. What you said about like wanting to finish school, I feel like that's like one of your best qualities. And I feel like it's a good quality for people that are just starting out in the industry. Like they're so quick to be like, oh, this is hard. Like, never mind. You know what I mean? Like where you were like so persistent, like I need to finish this. And I think that's why you're so good at what you do now.
I also think it's so admirable. Like, I just got done telling one of my friends, like, I'm a big believer, if you're not happy in a situation, don't stay. Like, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a job. So I think that's awesome that you recognized that early on and you made a move.
For sure. And it was early enough that you could, I mean, look at how fast you've gone through our program, and now you're, you know, building this business behind the chair, and it's like super successful. So I just think you caught it at the right time. And I know in my experience, I'm 37 years old. I feel like I have so many friends that constantly are like, I hate what I do. I shouldn't have did this. I should be in a different industry. And for them, they feel like it's too late.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's never too late. Do whatever you have to do. And there's always an option. That's my belief. But I feel that you really kind of took the bull by the horns like early on, and it served you really well. I also think that your education and what you have in your background is probably utilized every single day.
100%.
Yeah.
How did your parents react?
My mom is funny because, like, she really, like, never cared, like, through high school. She'd be like, you know, do you, like, I always say my mom, like, reverse psychologied me and be like, you can do whatever you want. Like, she wanted me to take AP art in high school. Like, she was like, you could go to art school, you could do whatever. And, like, my mom raised all 4 of us by herself. So, like, I never really felt like there was any limitations unless I, like, put them on myself. Because
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like it's like what everybody thinks. So you want to do better, you know?
Aw.
So that's kind of like how I ended up in college. And choosing my major, I was like, what's the most normal thing someone can do?
Yeah.
I'm laughing. I'm smirking right now because I'm noticing Payton has this bracelet on with these charms and some words, and it literally says "fuck it." And I'm like, I feel like that's probably your mantra at this point. Like, fuck it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do it. I love
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, shout out to your mom.
But
I know.
the funny part is, I was like, I think I'm going to go to beauty school. She was like, why would you do this? I was like, Mom, you literally don't care. Like, if she listens to this, she's going to be like, no, I never said that. But she did. She did.
Wow.
But now she gets her hair done. So, like,
Yeah.
She's
won.
winning.
She's
She's
loving it.
winning.
she
Yeah.
won.
So I can remember the initial interview that you and I had, and I can remember it vividly. And the most significant part of it was when
Because you were 9 months pregnant.
I was 9 months pregnant, was I? can't
I remember the
this
phone
at
call.
this
You were like, dude, like this girl's
obsessed.
awesome. Like, and I was like, oh man. And it felt like you got broken up with because she.
I was so upset. I was devastated
the
when you
job.
turned the job down.
I know.
Let's just say that. Payton turned the job down.
I had to talk her off the ledge for like.
I didn't have a
couple days.
car.
She was going to med school at that point.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, it
She
was.
had a change of
We
heart.
sat down, we chatted, we vibed. You know, I definitely connected with you. I'm like, oh, this girl's gonna be a rock star. I know it. And like, I just felt so deeply that you were gonna do incredible things in this industry. Like, I just knew it. I knew it. So when I then, you know, the next day, I'm like, I offer you the job, and the response was basically, what was it that
I don't know if I've ever said, like, I cried for like 3 days. Because I never.
makes me feel so much better.
I was like so dead set on it, and like my boyfriend was like, "How are you gonna get there? You can't Uber to work every day, like to Newtown Square from Manayunk."
She
like,
thought you were bullshitting. Like,
No, I
Yeah.
literally no.
I was like, she doesn't like us. It was me. Something I said. I don't know what it was, but I definitely dropped the ball here. This is terrible.
No, I was devastated, and then like. I don't know. I was like looking at other options, and I was like, man, like none of this feels right. And I brought it up. I like brought it up to Mike. I like had like a planner. I was like, here's the deal. I was like, if I can get a job in Wayne, I can take the train to Temple and then wait at Temple for the train to Wayne. He was like, okay. So
Wow, I didn't realize that's how committed you were.
yeah.
I love this. That's amazing. Well, we're so happy to have you.
Thanks.
Obviously, that email that came back, that like as sad as I was, I got the reverse effect when I was like, hey, I was like, oh,
She's back.
I'm like, hey, so remember me?
Couldn't forget you.
How long after did that email come in?
What was it? Probably about a month.
Couple weeks, yeah.
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 Talk to us about like your mindset shift from, so you were a personal apprentice for a while, and then you went through our apprentice program. Talk to us about the mind shift that occurred like when you got the promotion to be a level 1 stylist.
I think because I'm older, like I always have been really focused. Like there was like no other option really for me. So like when I think the biggest part of it was like when I started working here, I was like, okay, like we gotta like, really hit the ground running, like keep everything on a good foot, like make sure like that I'm taking every day for like everything that it is. And when I was a personal assistant, like I genuinely like fully absorbed like everything Meg was doing, like the way she talked to her clients, the formulas she would always go to, like I was like, okay, like write that down like because I just felt like that was like something invaluable, And when I shifted to being full-time, like I feel like it's so weird to shift full-time because you're so scared, like every chance that you get to like every opportunity is new, really. Like you don't know what's coming in your chair, really. And like it's not like you're like pre-booked with a ton of clients, so you're like walking into every shift like, did I Instagram stalk everyone? Yes. Did I like check what they like are working with? Yes. So you're so nervous, and I feel like the biggest thing for me, like I always tell like all the girls, like you're gonna be scared, like you just have to do it regardless. Because it is scary.
Yeah.
It is. Is that so? You actually did that in the beginning, like when you would have your day.
Yeah.
You would go into Instagram or social media and try to find the clients to get an idea of what they were bringing to the
Yeah.
table.
That's
Yeah.
genius,
I
and
love
that's
that.
exactly what I would have
still
been
do
doing
that.
too.
Yeah, talk to us about that process. Like, what would you look for? Like,
I mean, I really just like, it's so creepy now to think about it, but I would just like look them up on like Instagram or Facebook and be like, okay, like I'd like putting a face to a name, really, and like kind of being like, do they have short hair? Do they have long hair? Like, what's the vibe gonna be like? And yeah, I still do that.
I feel
Yeah.
like this is such a powerful tool that we've never talked about this before.
No, we
but
haven't.
to be honest, like to be prepared for, Joanne, whatever her name is, coming in and to be able to know like, okay, she's a mom. Like I can see she has kids on her Instagram. I know that her lifestyle is different than as if she were 22. And these are just like things to prepare me for how I'm going to go about this consultation. Like I think that there's like so much value there. So shout out to you for
Well,
that.
like what Peyton was saying, being a younger, or like a newer stylist to the floor, it's like going on a blind date with every one of your clients, not knowing anything about them, what
Yep.
they like, what they look like. So now it's like different because now they have online dating, so you can like get to know someone before you actually meet them. So I think it was
bet,
genius
yeah,
what you
a
were
lot of
doing.
people do that, but aren't.
I think a
but
lot
are
of
too
people
scared to
definitely
admit that
do.
They do. I mean, we do it for job interviews.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with the suites, when we have potential like members that are applying, we kind of backtrack. Like
Well,
I
why
need to
wouldn't
know
you?
a little bit about you
Why
before.
wouldn't you?
No one's sending like. I mean.
They do the
Never
same
mind.
to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's like the reverse is so true. Like they're not like booking with someone like sight unseen. You know?
Exactly.
I'm just leveling the playing field a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
Great
true.
move. I like it.
So you grew your clientele pretty quickly. How did you do that? What were the methods that you used?
So I like always have focused on like really, first of all, maintaining my technical skills. Like I didn't want to be on the floor and like not have the skills to back it up. So I immediately will like subscribe to like online, hair educators. I basically trained my algorithm on every social media platform to only show me hair videos and like tips and tricks and everything like that. And that's all I was interacting with for so long because I was like, there's so much out there. Like, I just want to be able to consume all of it. And I never wanted to be in a position where I'm like, genuinely, like, I have no idea how to go about this.
I'm so impressed.
I know.
You're so smart
Yep.
So
at such a young
So
age.
smart. It's
I
college.
don't-
It's a college degree.
I was just about to say, I'm like, oh, you definitely got something out of college here.
So I don't know if like a lot of people know this, but you can actually like pay for a subscription through Instagram to get content that only is like paid for.
Really?
Yeah. And who was
Yeah.
the artist that you were
So
doing?
I have subscribed to a bunch of people, like now and then I like still do, because I just feel like it's, if you're talking about new tips online, like clients are also online, so they're gonna like see that and be like, can you do this?
Right.
You know?
How long did it take you to get on the floor to be by yourself?
It was
6
like
months.
6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I
It's
was
pretty
That's
quick.
definitely one of the
Heather,
quickest
I
in our
gotta be honest.
company.
Hearing you say, "Oh my goodness," is like so out of character.
So G-rated.
Holy shit!
You guys know what I really wanted to say, but
Oh my goodness! I was like,
listen, I'm trying to keep it PG
Oh my
for the
goodness
show because
gracious.
I've cursed previously in these and I don't like how I sound or look.
All
So,
right, well, at least-
oh my goodness, leave my oh my goodness alone.
Like, loosen it
Oh my
up a
goodness,
little
like
bit.
that has to be like one of our quickest.
I think like
You're setting records over here. I mean, like you're finishing college, you're getting a degree for first in your family. You said.
you know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna add
I'm
that to the.
impressed.
From now on, we're only accepting applicants that have a 4-year degree.
everybody like,
I'm just
oh.
kidding.
I mean, you're like literally breaking records, and they're 6 months out on the floor. Like, but this is great. You're a goal getter. Is that what
So
I'm
far,
trying
we
to
have
say?
that you
Yeah.
hone in on your
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
You do the research before your people came in. What other things were getting you from point A to point B in that initial?
Yeah, this is like not the answer everybody wants to hear, but like I did a lot of clients at a discount and I came in a lot. Like there were times where I was working like 4 or 5 days a week because I just like wanted to do anything just to get somebody in my chair. Like I was like willing to like give them 20% off. I was willing to like advertise on every Facebook platform I could find. Like, hey, like I'm looking for new clients. Like I'm offering this 20% off deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that people talk down on that a lot now. And I understand why. But when I was first starting out, I was like, I just like, 1, need the practice, and 2, like, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, I think there's a time and place for it though. Like this industry, like all the investment, all the sacrifice is
Yeah.
up front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like
agree.
you're sacrificing your time, like you said, you're working additional hours, you're discounting your services, sacrifice of money, but you understand the return that you're going to get years later. And I think the
Yeah.
negative piece around those things are if you're doing that for the entirety of your career,
100%.
you know?
I also think though in our industry, like, opportunities aren't always there. Like our industry is up and down. Like we're busy, then we're
Yeah.
slow. We're busy,
Yep.
then we're slow. So like if you are slow and you need to make your own opportunities because sometimes they're just not always going to come knocking.
Exactly.
So I don't knock you for doing that at all. I think that was actually so smart that
No,
you.
it's a key. And in my
Yeah.
opinion, like listen up. Like if you're on here listening, trying to see how you are successful from apprenticeship or graduating school to level 4, it is 100%. You are going to get out of this industry what you put in. If you're going to show up early, you're going to put the effort in, you're going to go into social media, you're really going to try and engage with guests and get people to come see you, you're going to build a phenomenal foundation for a great career. Now, opposite. If you're someone who's going to roll in 15 minutes late, wait for the front desk to feed you clients, it is going to be the hardest, most difficult experience of your life. And I can tell you that from experience firsthand. We've watched it happen over and over. Now you just saying it is really putting it into light.
Yeah.
And hearing how committed you were to your strategy. I mean, it is what it is. Like you're this far into it and you've really had success with these methods. So
Yeah.
shout out to you.
Speaking of the front desk feeding you, I'd be feeding them. I'd be bringing them in cupcakes every day. I'd be like, oh my God, you guys look beautiful today. Like, here's $50. Keep me in mind when a new client calls.
There's like a completely different method, you know?
to pay everybody off.
Yes. I mean, that's what I would do if I was going to get new clients and build my book. I'd have everybody on board with me. Trust
Tuesday
me.
donuts, Fridays pizzas.
Chick-fil-A day. Like, just for front desk, though.
Listen, I'm kind of intrigued by
Never
this.
thought of that.
Seriously, I mean, like, think about it. They're the ones that are feeding you. You're gonna keep them happy.
Yeah, you don't
That,
wanna-
I'd be best friends with everybody at that front desk. We're
That
going
is
for
so
drinks
funny.
Friday night, guys. I'm opening a tab.
That's hilarious.
On the flip side of that, what struggles and challenges have you had with, I don't know, growing so quickly?
I think that like I definitely am a person who struggles with like imposter syndrome, if that's what you want to call it, and like feeling like, especially when I jumped to level 3, like I was like, oh my God, these numbers are scary.
remember.
I was like, these numbers are scary now. Like, I really value like my clients' time and investment in me. Like, yeah, they're coming to hang out with me, and like I want to give them the best service possible. So because I like hold that in such high regard, like it is scary to be like, oh my God, now you're like, I remember those days when my paychecks were $300 and I would save them to like go get my hair done. So I'm like, this is like important, you know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like the other part of that is I'm my own worst critic. Like you can't hurt my feelings because I've already hurt my own feelings before you got there.
I'm right there with you.
Anything you can say about me, I've said worse about me.
I agree with you. I'm that way too. They tell me all the time.
Yeah.
It's horrible, but like this is a job that like it is hard on your mental like health a little bit. Like you, especially when you hold that as such a high standard, because like when people don't come back, you're like, man, was it me? Like
Yeah.
you're like, was it me, or like did I do something? So I think that's been like the hardest part, like especially because like now at this point, like I've definitely lost clients. I know I have. And it hurts. It stings a little bit. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, man, if you only knew what I'm doing on the back end, like,
Yeah.
you'd appreciate it.
I think your struggle, though, in your past, has really shined through with when you say like this is a lot of money. Like you're very transparent about like what things cost and making sure that the client's like fully aware of the investment that they're going to make like when they're with
100%.
you. You know, that's never
100%.
blurred for you.
No, because I know that, like, I said this at our class, like, we're in an era where people go online and they talk so heavily about like where they're spending their dollars and like that they think that like they think a lot of hairstylists are overcharging and like for no reason, but I'm very like upfront about like this is why too. Like I'm never gonna just do something because I think like I think like I want to, you know? Like if you want to have like bright blonde ends but like you have like permanent color on there, it's going to take more time and more product and like maybe a conditioning treatment. Like I understand that like it's an investment, but like if you want to get from point A to point B, like you have to make it. So I'm always upfront, like, because I know that sometimes that's like at the end of the day what people care about.
So talk to us more about that. I'm assuming that there's something you're doing in your consultation that is probably elevated and advanced kind of compared to what most people do. It sounds like you talk very deeply about the strategy, the plan, the money, like all of that. Now, that alone is going to develop a deeper emotional relationship. Right away, they're going to feel a trust.
Yeah. I'm
Would
like,
you say that's a part of what has gotten your clients to be?
100%.
Okay.
I am very honest. Like I'm just like in general a very blunt person, like, and not in a rude way, in a way that like I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Like I'm not gonna like tell you something if it's not true. Like I am very honest. So I kind of hold my consultations and like, what do you want? Like, what's your dream? How like is your hair like feeling? Like what struggles are you having with it? Like how can I help you? And then like I take point A, tell you how we're gonna get to point B. I go over the maintenance for something like that, and then I'll talk about pricing and timing for the day, because I think like sometimes people come in and they have no idea how long they're going to be there.
Yeah, that's a big
That's
one.
a huge thing, especially
Yeah.
for moms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm upfront, like I do take a long time, like especially in my first appointment with someone, because I have no idea what's on your hair. I have no idea how it's going to lift. So my first appointment's usually a little bit longer than like moving forward.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just try to hit all of those marks, because you can talk about everything else later in the appointment. Like that's really like where we'll start.
I love that. That's so impressive, just because I feel like for me, you know, I'm so busy and I'm at the point, this is so bad, but I would sacrifice the overall end result for
Quality
the
for
timing.
time.
100%.
Same.
Like that's me right now. Like I just don't have the time. I wish I did, but I do not. So like I'm cool being like, this is good as long as it's timing appropriate. Now listen, like if you were to sit down with me and say, you know, this is what you want. This is point A to point B. This is how long it's going to take. This is how much it's going to cost. I might turn around and be like, okay, well, I don't have that time today. Why don't we start with a root touch up and a glaze and a trim? That'll get me over. I'll come back in 3 weeks and we'll go for the whole thing. But if you were to keep me in your chair for 6 hours or 3 hours
and not
give me the heads up,
Yeah.
I am going to be chomping at the bit to get out and I'm probably not coming back.
Yeah,
So
100%.
Yeah, and I love the transparency there. And I'm like thinking back, like I agree with you now, Mon. Like that's my lifestyle too. I'm limited on time, but I'm thinking back like when I was in my 20s. And I would go to like get my hair done, and I actually would go out in Devon to get my hair done. And this was before you.
I was
were
going to say,
in
you
school.
didn't go to your sister?
No, this was before she was like in high school still. But I used to go to this girl out in, I'm not going to name the
cares?
salon.
Keep
But
going.
anyway, and I remember being in my 20s, and it would be like a 3, 4, 5 hour long deal every single time I went. And then I had all the time in the world. But I remember sitting in that chair and I'd be cringing because I'm like, oh my God, like I have a date tonight. Like I got to get out of here. I need to get a shower. Like I always had something going on in my life then. And it's like time is just so important to people. So
Yeah.
Wait, I'm also
it's so
laughing.
important that.
You were in the era that we didn't have smartphones.
Yeah.
You were reading every magazine in that place.
Oh my God, no! The only thing I had was a Nokia cell phone. Do you guys remember that?
Were you playing Snake on your phone?
Can you imagine
Tetris. I
being
played
stuck in a
Tetris.
salon for that long?
No,
back then?
seriously, like it was torture, and then that's all it was. It was magazines, and it was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, the timing, even then, like timing now is important, but timing in my 20s was important to me too. So, and I used to hate it because every time I went, I never knew how long I was going to be there.
Yeah, it's a
So
good
it's
tip
nice.
for the newbies for
Yeah.
time expectations. I feel like
sure.
that's
For sure.
not
People
something
appreciate that.
typical
Big deal.
consultation piece.
You just have to be honest. Like I feel like even if you're slow, like you explain why and how, and like they're gonna be like, okay, like
They're
I
gonna be
can
like,
like
yes or
probably
no.
move some,
Yeah.
right? Like I can move something around.
Yeah. 2 questions. Who do you look to for mentorship for your own career? And you recently became a mentor for us at our salon. So I want to talk to you about that a little bit too and your process there.
So I like to look for mentorship, like obviously in-house. Like there's so many people to choose from, but funny enough, I have been following Morgan since I was in beauty school, and I like love talking to her because I feel like we work the same way and like we kind of dissect like projects the same way. So like when I was starting to double book, I was like, what did you do? And I like literally would go back in her schedule and be like, when Morgan was a level 3, what did she book?
You
like,
did? Wow,
yeah.
that's so smart. I would have never thought to do that.
Yeah, I was
It's mind blowing. You should write a book.
Yeah. And you and Morgan have similar like backstories. Like she was a
Yeah,
teacher. Yeah. Okay.
So I like love picking her brain about things, and I like love talking to her just about like what she thinks I should do, or like how she like, you know, she was like, I literally booked 60-minute haircuts until like 2 weeks ago. I was like, no way. I was like, I could do that. I was like, 60 minutes. I love that.
To ease the transition of double booking. Yeah.
And obviously Meg, like when she was my mentor, like I came from a position where like I felt like not a lot of the people I worked with really liked me. So when I was working with Meg, I was like, I just like loved being around her and like being around her clients and everything, and I just like really took in every moment. And then I obviously looked through like social media. I love Bragg Beauty. She's an icon. Like she's really making waves in our industry, and like it would be crazy not to like look up to her, you know? She's like inventing techniques. She's like tailoring techniques. She's perfecting them. And I just like love that. I feel like it's so relatable. And now that I'm a mentor, so like the way it happened was basically I would work Saturdays. Well, I still work Saturdays, but everybody would come up to me and be like, what do you think I should do?
Yeah, like naturally.
Yeah, they'd be like, hey, like, can you help me with this? And I'm like, sure, whatever, you know?
What level are you mentoring?
Right now, so what's weird?
It's like a mix.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have 2 level 1s and a level 2.
Okay.
It's just the way things
Yeah.
fell. But So I was really used to like already giving a lot of advice while I was at work. And I like helping people through problems because I feel like that's what we do behind the chair anyway. Like you're helping people solve a problem. And like I said in the beginning, this is a scary job. Like, especially, I cannot imagine being like 20 years old and being like using chemicals on people's head, you know? Like, or like thinking like, oh man, like how am I supposed to do this? So I really just like try to give people the how and the why so that they like can use that knowledge moving forward. But I love being a mentor. Like I like take my like mentorship very seriously.
She does. When we were like talking about like who she was going to mentor, I like tried to make a little change. She was like, actually, like I already have this figured out, and like sent me over like a plan, like a written out plan of like what their struggles were and what they needed to do to get like to fix it. So like
That's incredible.
Yeah, like do you
love
consider
this.
yourself like a leader?
No.
But I
No.
wanted to ask that because I really feel like you have all the characteristics of a true leader.
I think I just like helping people. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it makes me upset, especially when like people close to me are like really struggling with things. So like, I can see that they're trying so hard. Like what you were saying earlier, like people are putting in the effort. They are posting on socials. They just don't know how to get results out of it. And so I am really there to like be like, well, you're doing this, but maybe if you tweak it this way, like you could get more people in your chair. Or like if you reach out to people or like follow all of them on Instagram, like they'll come back to you because they have your Instagram already. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah.
Would you say most of your clients were through Instagram? And then is there like a secondary
Word of mouth.
word of mouth?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always given everybody after their first appointment with me, or tried to, like I know I slip up sometimes, but I'll give everybody my card and my Instagram, and I'm like always accessible via there. And I remember like when I was first on the floor, I had this one client who was in high school, I still have her, and I remember doing her hair and she wanted like a full foil, no root tap, nothing. I was like sweating. I was like, oh no. And I just really liked her, and she kept coming back, and she's referred like all of her friends to me. And like now I do like their whole friend group.
Oh, that's the best.
That
is
is
the
the
best.
best. I love that.
And they're literally like so fun to hang out with. So I'm like, this is just like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like I met all of them when they were sophomores, and now they're like going to college, and it's like crazy. But
So fun.
yeah, but they've like I have a whole like architecture corporate like firm that comes to me. Like
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that says a lot about your business. If like you're keeping your clients happy so much that they're sending all their coworkers and friends to you.
Yeah. My client on Monday was like, I walked into the break room and people were talking about you. I was like,
That's
Oh my
amazing.
God, that is so good.
she was like, I'm going to see her soon.
That's amazing. You've succeeded for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like some of the traits and the qualities that I'm noticing with you are just you're super honest. You have this like natural drive to help people, which you've mentioned, and that goes for your clientele, but also within the salon, which is why you're a mentor 3 years in, which is so
Not
amazing.
even, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I've
awesome.
only been behind the chair for 2 years.
This
It's
is
crazy
incredible.
to think
What,
about.
3 years in September?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this episode's going to have to be required for our apprentices going into level
Well,
one.
that's what I want to know. So walk us through like a day in your life when you're behind the chair. Like what
Like
happened?
now.
Whatever you want. Like
Whatever
whatever's
you-
gotten you here, really. Like what were like some of the key things that you did like every day that you feel like have gotten you where you are now?
Like I said, I feel like having that technical background really does help. Like if you're not like taking classes and like investing in online education, like you're gonna fall behind because you're just relying on the same things, and like sometimes you do need to tweak things, like just, and even like getting a fresh perspective like helps keep you like on your toes, you know? But so that's before. And then during my day, I'll go through, I like keep my consultations the same for everybody, but if I do have a new client, like I will book them up. And
What are you doing before you start your day?
before I start my
Like,
day,
do you get to the salon like 15 minutes before? Are you there 30 minutes?
I run really late.
Oh, wow. See, that surprises me.
I'm like a very like type A, like, coded person, but I'm very type B. Like, everything about me says I should be very, like, rigid and, like, but I'm kind of go with the flow at the end of the day. Like, I was an accountant, but, like, I will be, like, 10 minutes before my client.
Okay. Do you prep? Do you use a planner?
I
Do you get a strategy in place? And maybe
Yeah.
even it's mental, but I'm just curious. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I will look at my day ahead and I'll like kind of see like I always plan in advance for like openings and everything. Like I'm like constantly posting about whatever's open. And then I used to use my planner a lot, but now since I'm like working day by day, like in order to like when I'm like more focused on like level jumping, I'll like go day by day in my notes app and I'll just write like, you know, benchmark myself. Like I'll like tally like everything we have to tally up, and I'll keep that like very consistent because that helps me keep on track rather than like pre-planning.
Now, let's say you have a 6-hour shift. You had a last minute cancellation for 30 minutes. What are you doing in that 30 minutes?
So in my 30-minute break, I'll post content. I'll post on my stories. I will.
I mean, obviously you're not eating. I'm just kidding.
No, I'll eat.
Yeah.
I'll eat. And then, or I'll just like talk to everybody, see what they're doing, like what they're going through that day. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm kind of just like vibing around, but I take my days off like very lax, and I like do a lot of like my at-home education like on my days off, so I'm prepared for
Yeah.
like if I'm ever feeling like in a rut or anything. I don't have any like daily rituals really. Like I know that that's probably what you're thinking, but
What about like posting? Like, is that a day off thing? Is that something you do during your time at work?
both.
Both.
Yeah, I've like gotten a little more lax about my posting. I'll like mostly post on stories now, but when I give everyone my Instagram, if they don't follow me first, I'll follow them first.
So this is key. Like, I think a lot of people are like, I tried social media, I post openings, but like, no one's like gonna see it if you're like putting it on your stories and your clients aren't following. Like you do like follow up after to make
Yeah.
sure that your clients are following. Like Aunt
Yeah.
Tina and Grandma Joe ain't gonna care that you have an 11:30 opening tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
I think the process that you have of making sure that when your clients leave, like if they don't follow you, you follow them. That's huge.
Yeah, I have a close friend story that I use for my clients. So if you're like my
God,
one-time client or like a repeat client, I'll add you to my close friends story, and that's where I'll
Wow.
post my openings first before I post them on my public
This is
story.
genius. Yeah.
And this is Lindsay, our Lindsay Hilden. She's big on this too.
Yeah.
She like drives it home nonstop to the newbies. Like, make sure your clients follow you. Make sure your clients follow you.
Yeah.
Make sure you're
Tag
connected with
them.
them for sure. Yep. And I think it makes a huge difference.
100%.
What would you say your success rate is when you're trying to fill a last minute appointment?
It depends on the time of year, I think, too.
Okay.
Like, sometimes even just by posting, I'll get like a random person, which is funny. Yeah, like I'll post a last minute opening, and like a friend of a friend will see that, and then they'll tell their friend, and that's how I get new clients.
All right, Payton, if you could give yourself advice from when you first started out as a stylist in the industry, what would it be?
I always tell like the people that I'm mentoring and everything, like don't take criticism from anyone you wouldn't take advice from, because I think there's a lot of voices and there's a lot of like chatter, and like even if that's yourself, like you have to just like, you know, seek that out from people you really do respect, and like that's who you're going to learn from. Like if you don't like the way someone is running their business, like don't take their opinion to heart. You know, they're always going to have their opinions about what you're doing, but because I think it is like a very saturated industry now too. Like there's so many things coming at you from all sides, so if you can kind of drown that out and just like look to those people you really look up to, like that does help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, definitely somebody's opinion that you don't look up to could definitely knock you down some.
100%.
So I like that.
It's great advice.
I'm so impressed with you.
Yeah.
I feel like you really have created this like innovative system that could benefit so many people. So thank you so much for sharing all of it with us and with the audience too, because some of these things were mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
So it was really cool.
I'm like, blown
You're
away.
very accomplished for your young age. I know you said you feel old, but you're not. When you told me what year you graduated high school, I was like, there's no way. But anyway, like, I mean, you have a degree, you have a cosmetology license, you have a book, you have a mentorship like behind you. You have a lot going for you.
Yeah.
So you should be proud of yourself.
I am. I'm pretty grateful for everything. Like, I feel like I practice a lot of gratitude, and like
great.
I love to manifest, so I feel like that helps a lot too.
Well, we're very grateful to have you on our team.
Yeah. I also feel like that is something that I've noticed with you this whole entire time, is just how like gracious you are, and how accepting, and just I feel like you have this sense of gratitude that doesn't always happen. And there's a line between like entitlement and gratitude and just,
victim mentality that you don't have,
Yep.
which I love.
It's unbelievable.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you on Instagram?
On Insta at HairXPayton.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks, Payton.
Thank you so much. This was good.